Shortly before the market correction began, we warned you on this channel, hey, watch out. The stock market's about to go down. Then Friday, after the video posted, the stock market went down. And Monday, it came down a lot. And then Tuesday, it came down again. We warned you before that, and hopefully you're hearing what I'm saying here again. That the stock market is probably on the verge of another leg down. Now, I am going to say this. There's a decent chance, actually a probability, that the stock market may go up a bit today. And it may go up a bit tomorrow. But there's very little overhead before it starts hitting a lot of resistance. There's a lot of people trapped in the market that are going to start selling if it goes up just a little further. Now, if you're familiar with technical analysis of charts, some people say it's voodoo science, but then there's also just a lot of science that does go into it. It's a lot of psychology of the markets and everything. People have a tendency to sell when the market is the lowest, and people have a tendency to buy when the market is the highest, and that's just kind of how that works. But what I'm telling you is all the reasons why the stock market came down last week are still there. There's an increased possibility in a lot of people's minds that Special K is going to win this fall. And everybody agrees that's going to be bad for the stock market. Everyone except for her. She thinks it's going to be great. Anyway, with all the propaganda that's coming out saying that she's doing fantastic and all these AI people are showing up to see her, okay. But if anyone actually believes that, that's going to be bad for the stock market. In addition to that, we have recession. Has the recession gone away? Like, it was really, really bad and people were concerned about it. And what's changed since then? Nothing. Nothing's changed. So that negative and weight on the market is still there. Has anyone cut interest rates? Has the Federal Reserve cut interest rates? No. The Japanese, they said, okay, we'll stop doing crazy stuff that's messing up the markets worldwide. And that kind of helped. But Japan's still imploding. And we still have the de-dollarization of the world. The United States is dominance in world trade is still under attack. We got a lot to talk about. There's other problems going on too. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade. And before we go any deeper, I do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. There is some great opportunities to get your IRA, 401k, or retirement plan into something solid. You can get into prepper bars in your IRA. You can get just silver bullion. It has a much lower premium. Whatever you want. If you want silver eagles in there, you can do that. If you want gold eagles, you can get gold. You can get platinum. Platinum's probably primed to explode upwards. But I think silver is the best play, but you know me. But if you want to talk to Jonathan and his team, they love to talk with you and answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you. There'll be a link at the end of the video. So, I'm kind of skeptical about the stock market. I think that the only real thing, and I've said this many times, the only thing I think people should be doing in the stock market right now is shorting it. It's dramatically overpriced. All of these companies are priced as if everything is going to go fine for the next 50 years, which is patently insane. Do you know what the population of the United States will be in 50 years? It will be less than it is today. If that doesn't blow your mind, we're going to have less people in the United States in 50 years than we do today. That's assuming we don't even have a world war, that we don't have a catastrophe. That's just demographics. So if there's less people doing less work, that's going to be good for the economy? That's insane. And nobody's pricing in the fact that, like, I don't know, we're going to have some insane regulations coming out. If you think the regulations are bad now, I mean, they're going to like make it so that you can't buy gas cars in 5 years. How are businesses going to work on that? They're going to have to buy electric vehicles, except nobody's allowed to make electricity the old-fashioned way. Everyone has to buy the Chinese solar panels, which are made up of silver. Silver, friends. And if we get into a shooting war with somebody, when we fire a torpedo, do you know how much silver is in a torpedo? We don't know how much silver is in an American torpedo, but we know how much silver is in a German torpedo. We're talking hundreds of kilograms. We're talking 300 plus pounds of silver per torpedo. Does that blow your mind? That's a lot of silver because they use silver batteries. Things like the Starship and other spacecraft, satellites in orbit, they all use silver batteries. Anyway, I'm getting on a silver buzz again. That's where I'm just telling you where I am, friends. I am not in the stock market. I am in silver. Anyway, so we got lots of selling that happened last week, but we got lots of selling that's still to happen. And everybody's treating this as if nothing happened. And yet something big happened. Warren Buffett has dumped billions of dollars worth of stock. He didn't do it during the crash. He did it before the crash. He's there like looking at the books and said, you know what? The risk profile is not advantageous. I'm getting out. And he and, Berkshire Hathaway pulled back, right? And a lot of people took notice and a bunch of people started selling. That's part of what happened. CTAs, these passive strategies, looks at the market, looks at the graph and the positioning. These CTAs are still selling. We got lots of selling that has happened. And let's just say the smart people are selling and the dumb people are buying. The hedge funds, selling. Warren Buffett, selling. Who's buying? Retail. That's your people sitting at home clicking buttons on their computer who are moving their retirement account. Oh, this is great. I can get stocks at a discount. It's not at a discount, friends. They're more expensive than they've ever been. This is like the worst possible place to buy. The worst possible timing. You know what is low? Precious metals. Precious metals are low, price-wise. Pretty good bargains out there. Anyway, we got the commercial real estate bubble. Remember all those office buildings that are empty, that are worth billions of dollars, that nobody wants to buy? How much is something worth if nobody wants to buy it? Nothing. It's not worth anything. You can't sell it to anybody. Don't tell me it's worth something if you can't sell it. Most recent office buildings that have been sold in some of these urban cores have been sold at 50% discounts. Now, I get excited when I go to Aldi's and get a 15% discount. Went with my parents when they were visiting here last week, or the week before, and we went to Aldi's. My mom had a 15% off coupon. Aldi's is not as attractively priced as it has been in the past, but they got some good bargains. And then you add 15% on top of that, and wow, that's a bargain. But when you have a $1 billion+ office building and you're selling it at a 50% discount, that's pretty painful. When it's a multi-billion-dollar, these banks are getting hosed. You wonder why the banks are trying to charge you fees for having a checking account. You wonder why? Because they're over a barrel and they're toast. They know it. They're trying to pick up as many pennies as they can so they can get out before this whole thing implodes. That's what they're doing. They're playing hot potato with the jobs in the banking industry. These people are hopping, they're quitting, they're making their bank at their bank, and then they're quitting and leaving the problem to somebody else. That's not going to end well. Didn't end well in 2008, and it's not going to end well today either. And quite frankly, the numbers that we're seeing, it's worse today than it was in 2008. These banks are up to their eyeballs in unmarked, unrealized losses in commercial real estate and in treasury bonds. Both. And people like Warren Buffett, who actually read the reports, actually does his own research, has lots of people working for him that do the research, he's panicking. Should you be paying attention to that? Yeah, probably. All the hedge funds out there are dumping stocks, dumping assets. As the rally has bounced back this past week, retail is jumping in with all their money. And hedge funds are using this opportunity to dump all their stocks to the morons. And that's what's happening. So I'm just saying, be warned. Before the market opens today, be warned that you might not want to. If you have stocks, cool. You might want to hedge them. And if you're not familiar with what a hedge is, basically you can buy an options contract to protect your stocks against a dramatic drop. You pick how much risk you're willing to take. You know, if you lose 10%, that's what it is. But anything beyond 10%, you have a hedge, you have a put option there that it starts making money once you drop too far. That way it just kind of stops the damage. Or go into your order portfolios and put in a stop loss. If the stock market drops 2%, or if your stock drops 2%, it sells it. It won't let it go further. Having stop losses orders in is a good way to protect yourself. I mean, and having those put options, that's another way of protecting yourself. Don't be swimming naked, right? That's what Warren Buffett used to say. I think he still says it, is that when the tide goes out, you can see who's been swimming naked. Okay? When the water's in, everybody looks fine. You know, some people are wearing something down there and some people aren't. Some people have protection, some people don't. But when the crash happens, when the tide goes out, then we see who had protection and who didn't. And here's the simple fact. The banks don't. By and large, the banks do not have protection. They are in a world of hurt. And as the stock market comes down, those losses are going to get worse and worse and worse. So, where's the sunny news? You know, for the past 6 months, 12 months, they've been telling us all about how AI is going to revolutionize all these industries and it's going to make everyone so much money. The only person that's benefiting from AI right now is Special K's campaign, where they're taking like the 5 people and making them into like a multitude. It's like what Jesus did with the fishes and loaves. Their campaign is doing with the few people that show up. It's amazing. You know, some of this imagery stuff is quite impressive. Yeah, you can still tell. When people have 4 arms, it just makes you think that maybe it's not a natural picture. Yeah. Anyway, where else is AI really making a difference financially? It's called artificial intelligence. Why is it called artificial intelligence? Artificial means it's not intelligence, right? It's fake. It's faking you. It's lying to you. And That's what AI really is, ultimately, is a bunch of algorithms, and it's pretending. It's pretending to be intelligence. And to stupid people, it fools them. Now, I'm not saying that this code isn't clever. I'm not saying that the coding and all the things that it can do aren't pretty impressive. But it's not going to replace people. And it's not like it's getting smarter on its own. People are having to code it still. And that tells us that it's not living up to all the promises it's made. This is not going to be replacing as many workers as people make it out to be. Sure, it's got applications and finance and this and that, but AI is not going to be running robots in people's factories. Well, there's robots running people's factories, but not AI, right? It's not going to take nearly as many jobs as people think it is. And it's not going to make so much money, at least not yet. Maybe in the future I'll make more money, but with all that said, all the things that people say should make the stock market go sky high, they've panned out to be not really that big of a deal. And all the reasons that it should crash are very real and haven't changed since last week. So with all that said, watch yourselves. Be safe out there. A portion, put some of your retirement accounts, put some of your brokerage accounts over into precious metals. Good idea. Diversify. Do get protections like puts and stuff like that. If you insist on swimming, it'll take a little bit off your profits, but you know what? It'll protect you in case something bad happens, which it very well may be. I've told you, the crash happens before the Federal Reserve starts cutting. This wasn't a crash. It still has to crash before the Federal Reserve starts cutting. And friends, there's always the whipsaw. You get a drop, and then it kind of comes back, sucks more people in, and then it drops again. And all those new people that got sucked in get hammered. I'm just warning you. That's how the stock market works. So please make smart choices out there. If you have any questions, go talk to a professional. Talk to investment portfolio people. There's investment people on YouTubes that do trend analysis and technical analysis, and smart people that can talk you through all that kind of stuff. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people with stock market portfolios, investment portfolios. I've seen what happens during these downturns to people's tax returns. I mean, I've just seen it all. I know how much people make for income at different jobs and stuff like that because I've done their taxes. I know how much people in small businesses make. And it's good stuff. But I'm just telling you that stock market's not a great place to be right now. Think that through and protect yourselves. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold about what you can do to protect your retirement account, there's a link right there. Fill it out and they'll get in contact with you. If you do reach out to them directly, make sure you mention this channel so they waive the setup fee. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.